The thing that people don't talk about a lot is that, first of all, I think it's like 1 in 10 companies that start actually end up making it. And that's a pretty low probability stat, but it doesn't tell the whole story. And this is why. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. I got some question centered around entrepreneurialism and finding your passion. Most of these videos that I do are my friends so far because I have 100 and some followers, but I did get into a few conversations with them and they're asking me, and I get this a lot before too. So I've done some public speaking in my past. I'd go around and speak at some events, larger, some have larger crowds, a couple thousand people, but I did get asked a lot because I'm a business owner, they'd ask me about finding passion and purpose and then being able to do that through chasing the entrepreneurial dream. If you're paying attention to TikTok and you're paying attention to Instagram and you're out in the wild and you're working a 9 to 5, then the entrepreneurial dream or starting your own business is highly kind of glorified, I think, or sought after maybe, or a lot of people think that that would be the path that I would like to take because I don't want to work for someone. I want to set my own hours. I want to create things. I have lots of ideas I want to put out in this world. There's any number of reasons, but I think the main one being freedom to choose, freedom of time, kind of limitless possibility to earn. And so it does get glorified a lot online. And I think it pushes a lot of people to think, or I think I kind of just want to be real with this. Hey, look, I fully agree with all that, right? To a certain extent. I mean, I've always worked for myself for the most part. There's another side that I think the internet could probably have a few more videos on it. So this one is going to be about that. This one, my video today is going to center around, the fact that hopefully if you've ever experienced any anxiety or any kind of like depression around the fact that you just haven't started your own business or you don't know how to get started on your own business, then this video might be somewhat helpful, I hope. The common thread online and anywhere you talk to is that if you start your own business, that's the way to go. You'll be happy. You'll have made it. The thing that people don't talk about a lot is that, first of all, I think it's like 1 in 10 companies that start actually end up making it, right? And that's a pretty low probability stat to be risking everything on to start with, but it doesn't tell the whole story. And this is why. 1 in 10 is saying that that's a company that's still in business. And I think that when most of us think about, well, I'm going to start my own company and I'm going to do it for these reasons, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's freedom of time, no boss, and making a lot more money than I'm making right now. And the money may be that you want money and you want cars and houses, or that you want freedom or security. But when I hear those stats, like, well, 1 in 10, 10% chance, let's give it a rip. Let's see what happens. Hold on a sec. So, however, in that 1 in 10, it describes all the companies that have made it and made a lot of money doing it. It is describing the companies that have made marginal amounts of money doing it. And it's also describing the companies where the people will put 5-10 years into it. And somewhere along the line, they'll just get moved out of it, or they'll get fired, or they'll get ousted, or they'll get a restructure. And the company doesn't even involve the people that started it. So there's all these other factors that when you're taking into account that 1 in 10 that have to go into that. Even in that 1 in 10, how many are the version of what all of us think we would want, in that I want a successful company making X amount of money, that's putting this much in my pocket, that I'm the boss of, and I have total freedom. That is a lot less than 1 in 10. So if you start a company that's, let's say, a cash flow business, more of a lifestyle company that doesn't require private equity or venture capital, then you just grow it slowly. It means you're growing organically. It's called organic growth. And you do it under cash flow. So you start making some money and you put that back into the business. And however much money you make, you put that back in, and that dictates your speed of growth. Right? So you'll never try to outgrow your revenue. Those are some of the companies that fall into the 1 in 10. Those typically take longer to go, but you end up owning the whole business after the fact. Those are a lot more attractive to me nowadays. So the route that I went, though, the 1 in 10 also includes the companies that get started that have a product or a service that requires that company grows fast. Maybe it's a new technology company that invented something that doesn't exist. And so they'll call that a blue ocean, right? The market that they're going after is a blue ocean. When they introduce that product to the market and people start to figure out or learn about it, they'll only have a certain amount of time before a lot of competition comes into that market and makes it really hard for that business. Now, whether they want to or not, that might dictate that company has to take on private equity or venture capital funding or some investment of some sort. When that happens, when a company takes on investors, if it's at a small scale, it's less formal, there's less probability of some complications from the structure that comes with money like that. If it raises money and grows really fast, like a Uber or a Lyft or a Cold Bore or something like that, and I'm not comparing my company to the size of those ones, but we went this route. We had to take and try to seize the market. And so we raised tens of millions of dollars. And if these companies raise tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or even billions, that kind of money is what they call sophisticated capital. There's unsophisticated and sophisticated. It's not meaning that they're better or less. It's just basically means that it's institutions or professional investors that know what they're doing that come in, as opposed to maybe individuals. High net worth individuals, stuff like that, are typically unsophisticated capital. It's not categorizing the individuals, it's just terminology. And so if you take on sophisticated investment, it's going to come with a board, it's going to come with regulations, it's going to come with term sheets, probably prefs, which prefs stand for preferable stock and options, which puts the founders and them actually below the investors. So the investors get the first rights on everything. Anything goes wrong, investors first. Anything goes right, investors first. Founders down the list, down the list, down the list. And that's to ensure that these founders that are giving you their investors, that are giving you their money, get their money in, the company grows, and they get their money out without these founders going anywhere, because they're key to the growth of the company. And so this 1 in 10 factor of companies that make it, either you grow your business organically and it takes a really long time, and that 1 in 10 is 10 years, 20 years, something like that. Or you go the accelerated route with investors, and your 1 in 10 now can be between 5 and 10 years, but that introduces a ton of complexity. You basically have a job in those companies. You work for the board as a CEO, and everyone else works for you. And that can introduce all kinds of politics. It's a lot more management. There's a lot more reporting. There can be difference of opinions on that board that actually have the power to steer it. The CEO is not in sole control anymore. The CEO is in charge of making operational day-to-day decisions to grow the business, but everything major, like direction of the company and everything like that, has to be set by the CEO, but approved by the board for the most part. And if they choose to go a different route or want to switch things up, or they lose confidence in the CEO or someone, blah, 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 it just can be a mess. So now you're into this 1 in 10, if you're thinking of starting a business, where it's not just 10% chance that you get what you're thinking of. It's like 10%, it's like 1% of the 10% that it'll end up as a company, the type that you're thinking. I have a lot of experience in this arena, and the reason why I wanted to make this video was just to shed some light on the fact that, yeah, it's definitely awesome. Being an entrepreneur has a lot of perks and a lot of great stuff, but it comes with a ton of pressure, a ton of sacrifice. And ultimately, the sacrifice isn't so much the money, which is what everyone thinks of. You sacrifice the money. The sacrifice is the life, right? You're going to give up large parts of your life. It just doesn't, there's no two ways about it. To get something, you have to give something, right? And it's giving time. It's giving 80 hours a week, 60, 80 hours a week, for 5, 10 years, whatever it is. Just caution people to think about this before you do that. Sometimes working for a large company in an executive role perhaps might be a better choice, because you can get a great salary in an established business, set hours where you don't have to, you're not responsible for everything. You know, as a ex-CEO and serial startup guy, this is just my other side of the coin. If you feel like doing it, you want to be one of the people that creates and is going to make something for other people to work at and make the world a better place, all the power to you. But just make sure that you don't feel pressure or anxiety if you're not doing it, or if you haven't chose to go down that road, because I think it can be oversimplified a lot, and people just say, all you have to do is decide you're going to do something and put work into it and put the reps in and it will be what you want it to be. Not true. Actually, 99% chance it won't be what you want it to be. 1% chance it will. So this is a lot crazier gamble than I think a lot of people that a lot of people aren't being honest with online. And so I don't want to deter anybody from doing this. I love the people who want to go out and do it. But here's a sober second thought. And if you haven't done it yet, it's probably because you've really assessed and thought through this. And if lifestyle is more important to you, right? Having a family, having kids, having time that's scheduled, making all the games and the practices and all that, then probably starting your own business is going to be difficult to maintain those two. I'm not saying it's impossible. I do know guys that have done it. Guys and girls, it's really challenging. There's the reality, just a dose of reality on this whole thing around entrepreneurism, hype, and all this stuff. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Wrapping this up, guys, don't feel pressure. Please don't feel anxiety. If you are in your 9 to 5, find a 9 to 5 that you love. Find something that you're passionate about. Try to find something you would do for free. If you can find something that you would legitimately do for free on the weekend, and then you get paid to do it, I think that's the ultimate fulfillment in life. If that's not building your own business and taking all the stuff on, don't lose any sleep over it. Just get into a job that you really like having and focus on the stuff that really, really matters in life. Relationships, your kids, your family, your parents, your quality time, your dog who's sleeping here snoring, and just be in the present moment and enjoy life. Catch you guys on the next one. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please, if you don't mind, subscribe and like. I can't believe I'm even saying that, but you have to do it. It helps the channel a lot. Thank you so much, guys. We'll catch you on the next video.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care.